Oh, now it's close. What the heck? Got really close there. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 28 of This Old Knit. I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine on Ravelry and Instagram. And you can find our group by searching for This Old Knit on Ravelry. Come and join us because we have a lot of chatty people. Sometimes not. This is cutting my head off, but I can't get the thing that I have it sitting on to be any higher. Ooh, I have an idea. I'm in Megwin's playroom, so / the craft room. Now you can see the top of my head. Yay! And my hair. Woo! Okay. So anyway, I'm recording on my phone again. My battery for my camera is dead, and I was charging it. But I don't want to wait to record because it's getting closer to bedtime. So I think it's a little bit after 8 on a Tuesday the 20th of October. So yeah, I just wanted to see if I could record an episode because I missed doing it this weekend. So just to get kind of the elephant in the room out of the way, we had to put our dog Plonk to sleep this weekend. So we did it on Friday. And then I'd scheduled to take a 4-day weekend just so that I could be there for Megwin and take some time myself just because we had him for a long time. He was 15. Almost 15. He would have been 15 in November. So, yeah, that was very depressing. And it was a terrible, terrible weekend. So Joshua was sick, and Megwin was kind of misbehaving a lot over the weekend. And I actually have a little bit of Joshua's cold, so I apologize if I'm sniffling. My nose is kind of itchy and stuffy. But yeah, so I'm sure like a lot of the Megwin stuff was from Plonk. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Like, we miss him a lot. And I did get a lot of crafting done this weekend between dealing with misbehaving children who I hear running around downstairs right now. So this might be a shorter episode depending on how their bedtime schedule goes. Because when it's time to start getting them ready for bed, I'll have to stop and go downstairs. So anyway, let me jump into, we'll start with whips because I have them already out behind me. So first thing that I did, whoa, things are falling out, stuff's going everywhere. The first thing I worked on is obviously my blanket, because that's what I do when I'm stressed. So I actually finished the last knitted piece that I had. So I had, I think, the gauge swatch that the person used. So it was about yay big, just a square. I can't imagine what else it would have been. And it had a provisional cast on, which kind of ticked me off because I lost that much yarn because I could not get it to unravel. The alpaca just was not letting go. So anyway, but I'm all done with knitted pieces, unknitting knitted pieces. So now I am down to doing just the plain old balled up yarn, which I've got, I think, 8 or 9 more skeins besides this one. So that's kind of what it looks like in the cake. It's super cool. You wouldn't think that it would make the pattern that it does from the way it looks wound up. I really think that's so neat. So here it is. Again, I apologize for the lighting since it's nighttime. We're on kind of this weird yellowish light that I've got over on that side. Plus the room is yellow, so it naturally yellows light. And then I've got this LED light back behind here. That's my desk lamp. And I did not turn on the other one because it makes everything pink. So then it'd be weird and orange because we'd have yellow light and pink light. So anyway, yeah. I am I'm actually thinking about starting another 10 stitch pattern, which is crazy. But I got this idea over the weekend that wouldn't it be cool if I used kind of the bits of sock yarn scraps that I cannot make anything larger with, like hexapuffs or something like that, into a 10 stitch twist, which is circular. So it's a spiral that you do with the same idea, 10 stitches, so you're only ever working 10 stitches at a time. And I think it uses short rows a lot more. So like this one, the mitered corners are short rows, but it would be obviously more. I haven't really looked at the pattern yet, but I thought that might be kind of a neat idea. And then I could have a large like circular rug in my craft room, or potentially in the living room or something once the kids are a little bit older. I wouldn't want to put it out there right now. It would just get things happen to my floor. Random things when I come home will be just stuck to the floor. Mushed up fruit, apples, yogurt. I don't know. I don't know what happens during the day when I'm not here. Chaos. That's what happened. Chaos. So anyway, that's whip number 1. And then the whole bag of whips in my Bull and Vine Yarns bag, which does not have the zipper pull because I've got it on one of my projects, are my Octopus Garden socks. So I didn't make a lot of progress on these. I think I maybe knit like 5 or 6 rows ish. I picked them up a couple times when I couldn't reach any of my other projects, because you'll see I did a lot of stuff. So but there were times where I was trapped in my chair and I couldn't reach anything else to work on, which is fine. Oh, I forgot one of my projects too. I forgot the cowl that I'm knitting for my husband Josh, that I'm doing out of No Maker's tweed. I did make some progress on that as well. I got through all of the decreases from the bottom part, and now I'm just knitting straight. So I have like 70 something rows of straight knitting to do. So it's pretty boring at this point, but that's good. Boring knitting is good for me. Okay. And then this is, I am making a pair of mittens for myself for the cow that's going on in the A Wee Bit Knitty group, Lena's group. And she's calling it the A Wee Bit Mitty cow. So those of you who follow me on Instagram, you've seen these, but I haven't posted a picture of them in a bit. So I'm actually ready to close up the top. I think I'm going to Kitchener it. I think it calls for drawing it together and closing it that way, but I need that little bit of extra space because of my nails. So I think if I Kitchener the top, or maybe do one more plain round and then Kitchener, that'll give me the room I need. I really should have probably knit a couple more rows before I started the decreases, but I don't want to rip it out. I just don't. So anyway, other than that, I really like it. I did a folded hem, which I think I showed last time. And that green color I was talking about that I said wouldn't show up in the ball again, did actually show up. It showed up right here. That is not showing the true colors at all. This isn't doing it justice in any way. But it's kind of autumnal colors, and I obviously have to do the thumb. So that's mitt 1, and then I will start on mitt 2, probably before I do the thumbs. I typically, when I knit mittens, will knit both the bodies of the mitten and then come back and do the thumbs last. Oh boy. Okay. we had a little bit of an incident earlier where I came upstairs and I heard outside sounds, and Megan had opened her window in her bedroom, and we've talked to her about we don't want her to open the windows by herself without a grown-up anymore, even though we got that window replaced, so the new window is in, and it is safer. The screen is safer, but it's not going to hold her if she falls against it full on. So, of course, she was saying she was being careful, but it still scares the crap out of me after, what happened in the summer. And I don't want to be a super paranoid parent, so it's hard, Anyway, maybe don't know. Those of you who don't have kids are like, God, stop talking about it. But anyway, that's why I'm a little bit on edge right now, because I just found that before I started recording, so I had to go and talk to her about it, and yeah, it just kind of brings up all the memories of everything from when she was in the hospital. So anyway, on to bigger and better things. This is what I have left of the ball. So the yarn is Patton's Kroy FX in the Clover Colors colorway. Okay. Sorry about that. My husband was trying to figure out where I was. He wanted to know what I was doing. I thought he saw me gathering all my stuff. I should have told him what I was doing. Anyway. Do you have the ball band? Oh. Yep. There's the ball band. It's very torn up. And there's the color. Clover Colors. That's upside down. Okay. You can clearly tell I do not show ball bands very often. Okay. And then I pull this through. Worked a little bit on my cross stitch, my Once Upon a Time Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery sampler. So I did a little bit of the December square. So it's the house for Hansel and Gretel, the gingerbread house. Oops. There we go. So, and then this is the start of some candy up here at the top. So it'll have all like frosting and stuff like that. And then the little Hansel and Gretel are here in the front. So yeah, I hadn't worked on it in a while and it was fun. So I enjoyed that. When did I work on it? I think I worked on it like maybe Thursday night or Friday morning. It was probably Friday morning, because Thursday night I stayed up really late and worked on my blanket because it was kind of my last night to hang out with Blanc and cuddle with him, and he was a good cuddle buddy. So I wanted to do that one last time. Let's see, what other whips do I have? A random bag of Fritos in there. I don't usually eat Fritos, but I was in some meeting today at work and they had like chips on the table and I was really hungry. So I ate a couple of corn chips. Oh, this is a brand new cast on that I've never shown before. So I'm going to keep an ear out for downstairs so that if I am needed, I will stop recording. Like I said, I don't think this is going to be a very long podcast. It's just not good juju in the house tonight. We had a lot of struggling with Megwin for homework, and my husband's foot's kind of hurting. He has sort of the beginnings of arthritis in one of his feet. So yeah, he did some backyard camping with Megwood this weekend to try and help her feel better, and he said that just being outside with the cold and being kind of huddled up with Megwin in the tent, or it was like a shelter he makes out of his tarp, but it made his foot hurt plenty. So I cast on for the calligraphy cardigan, which Disa from Disa's Craftwork podcast and I are doing an informal knit along of this sweater together. So I know she started hers before I did, and she said she has not knit a whole lot on it. So I haven't either, Disa. But I did knit a little bit on it this weekend while we were driving around. So the yarn I'm using is a sweater quantity that I've had in my stash for a really, really long time. I think I got it from Jimmy Bean's Wool when this colorway was being discontinued, so fingers crossed I have enough for this cardigan. I think I'm a little bit under what it calls for in the pattern for my size. However, it's knit really, really long. So I don't think I want mine as long as what's in the pattern. So I think I'll be fine. I also don't have a super long neck. So the piece that's like laying back, that's supposed to be so you can button it up for a turtleneck, I don't need that to be as long for me. So I think I may be able to save some yardage there. Oh, I'm so sorry. I do have 12 balls of it though. So it is Rowan RYC Cash Soft DK. That is a mouthful. The colorway is raspberry. Sorry, I had the whole bag right over there, so I figured why guess. Okay, so I have 9 in here, but I have 2 more loose balls somewhere, and I need to find them because I don't know where they are. They're somewhere. They're in a different bag, I think, because it came in this bag back in the day, and then I had 2 extra balls that were just kind of in the box with it because they come in packs of 10. So I put them somewhere else so that they would be safe, obviously, from whatever little creatures decide they want to take up residence in my home. I haven't had a problem in a long time, but like probably when we first moved into the house, we had carpet beetles, and they did manage to eat a little bit of my yarn, and I actually had to throw that out. And yeah, so I just don't leave things out anymore. I make sure everything is in bags just to be safe. So it is, sorry, getting back to the colorway. It is probably not on here. Nope. It's a very undescriptive label. Anyway, there it is. RYC Cash Soft DK. It is 50 grams, which is 130 meters or 142 yards. Like I said, I have 12 of them. It's 50% extra fine merino, 40% acrylic microfiber, and 10% cashmere. So it's really soft and nice, and I'm happy to be using it. Because like I said, I've had it for a really long time. I think from before we moved to Ohio, which is in 2008. So I think I bought it when we still lived in California. So now the sweater. This is all I have. I did knit a gauge swatch. I've knit with this yarn before, so I know that it doesn't really grow a lot. It keeps its shape pretty well. I knit a cardigan for Megwin out of a blue color of this. And yeah, it held up amazingly well. I actually machine washed that even, and it was fine. I didn't dry it, obviously, but I did machine wash it once. I think she just got something in it that I just couldn't get off with hand washing, and yeah, it was fine. So it's like I said, it's showing the ribbing really nicely. It has good stitch definition. and it's soft, and yeah, I like it. Oh, this reminds me, you see how I have the two ends on that side. So a lovely viewer, whom I'm now forgetting her name, and I'm so sorry, I will link to it in the thread, but I asked her if I could share this. So she sent me a PM, and she linked me to a tutorial when I was talking about running out of yarn when you do long-tailed cast on. She linked me to a tutorial that talked about using 2 balls of yarn or 1 ball inside and outside. And it was freaking genius, so I need to share it with everyone. So basically you have your 2 different balls yet, right? So let's imagine these are the 2 ends from my ball of yarn. Then you make a slip knot. And you're going to put that slip knot on your needle. And then you're going to have these 2 ends attached to working balls of yarn. I think I might have made that slip knot backwards. And then, bam, now you've got, to do your long tail cast on, you've got 2 working ends attached to the ball. So you're never going to run out because you're just pulling from 2 live balls of yarn. You don't have to guess and use the tail, really. And then you cast on as many stitches as you need, plus 1. Then when you knit back to it, you just slip that loop off, the first loop that's 2 strands, because it's going to be 2 strands, your very first one. And then you have the right amount of stitches, and you just knit as normal. So the only thing that you have is you have an extra tail to work in, but really that's way better than guessing. So ever since she sent that to me, I have used that technique constantly. And I will put the link to the tutorial that she sent me the link to, because yeah, I was like, why did I not think of this? I can't believe I never thought of that. But yeah, that's how I've been doing all of my projects since then. And of course I never run out of yarn, and I just have 1 more tail to work in, which is a small price to pay. So I am knitting this on size 6. Yeah, size 6 Addi Turbos. They are the old ones with this metal cable, which tends to like have a lot of memory to it, which is probably why they stopped using this kind of cable. But it's fine. I've had them for a really long time, and they're still great needles. So that's that. And then I don't know what that is. I think that's my pattern for my windswept shawl. That didn't work out so well so far. But I'll share it with you anyway, so it'll be a cautionary tale for all of you, right? So I tried to cast on for the windswept shawl, and I knit a little bit of it. Nothing wrong with the pattern at all. This is just, I didn't want to do a gauge swatch because, I mean, shawls basically are a gauge swatch, I think. So, and really a gauge swatch can't tell you what you're gonna like in the pattern of the shawl. I think you really have to see, or I have to see the shawl to kind of visualize and think, okay, well, if I block that out, what's that gonna look like? Is it gonna look good in that shape or not? So here's what I've got. And it's way too airy. I mean, I haven't even blocked it yet, and look at that. That is not how open I want this shawl to be in any way. So I started out with a size 8, and the reason that I did that is that I tend to be a very tight knitter. And I know that Molly has said that she's a bit looser of a knitter now. So I was worried that if I used the same needle as her, I would end up with a shawl that was too tight, and that fabric would be really dense. Now that I've knit this little bit, I think I actually can go with a 6, which is what it calls for in the pattern. I at least need to go down 1 needle size, maybe 2. But now I'm using my 6s on my calligraphy cardigan, and my other ones are on Josh's cowl. So I can't recast it on until one of those projects is finished, because I don't have any other 6s. So yeah, that's on hold for right now until I free up a pair of size 6 needles, or I buy another pair. And my yarn cake is kind of taking a turn for the worse. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm kind of low energy today, guys. I'm just really stuffy, and like I said, it's almost bedtime. And things have been a little rough tonight. Just Megwin was a little bit difficult getting her to do her homework. And seriously, homework in kindergarten is ridiculous. Like every week we get this packet of stuff that we need to have her do, and we have to keep up with it with her. And God, I don't remember doing that much homework when I was a kid. It's pretty crazy. Oh, Joshua's starting to cry now, so I'm not going to be able to be on much longer. Okay. Consolidate. Give me one moment. So, FOs. I did finish something, and I just finished it right before I started recording. So I made a pair of mittens for Megwin with the Little Bunny Fufu colorway of No Maker's Squishy Gnomes. So I bought this back at Easter time to make a bonbon bunny. I made the fingering weight bunny, which she named Very, and I think she shared on the podcast before. But I haven't made the grown-up yet. But I had promised I would make her mittens to match Very. So that's what I did. And it's funny because I made her mittens last year, and these are about 1.5 inches longer in the hand and about 1/2 inch longer in the thumb. So her hand has grown a crazy amount since last winter, which is cool to see. So this pattern is Dabbler by Katja Frankel, I think. It's in the Head to Toe accessories book. So it's a book all for kids that aren't toddlers anymore, but aren't like teenagers. So it's kind of an age where there isn't a lot of patterns kind of geared to that age for hats and stuff. It's kind of like it goes baby, toddler, young adult, adult. But that age where kind of Megwin is right now is not an age that's usually sized for. So these mittens I've found work really well. I knit her this pair last year in the size 4 or 5, and the sizing was really great. And so this year I knitted the size 6 to 7, which fits her well. I screwed up on the decreases on the top, and I just started working a sock toe. The decreases in the pattern actually make a more rounded top mitten, but I totally didn't follow the instructions, and then I realized it after I finished this one, and then I was like, well, I'm not ripping it out, I'll just make the second one match. And Megwin didn't mind. She actually thought it looked cool, so why rip it out? So it has this fun little detail on the hand, just kind of hard to see. Oh, yay, it's fixing the color. You just carry the rib up a little bit on one side to have a fun little detail. There's the back. I got most of the lighter colors on, was it this mitten or this mitten? One of the mittens. Oh, it's this one. So all the lighter colors ended up lining up on one side, and all the really bright colors lined up on this side. But then as I got up here and kind of my stitch count changed, then it was more evenly distributed. And Amanda's colorway is just so cool. I really love the peach pops. Those are my favorite. When I got a little pop of peach, I was so excited about, oh, that pretty peach. I love the peach and the yellow together. I think she makes a colorway that's kind of those colors together that she does during the summertime. And I've thought about getting it, and I really should, given that I like kind of those colors in Little Bunny Fufu. So anyway, yep, Dabbler mittens done. Now she has her mittens for the year, and I am going to cast on a pair for Joshua next because he doesn't have any mittens that fit him. We had kind of destashed everything that we had for Megwin of warm things because at the time we were not thinking we were going to have a second child, so we got rid of a lot of the stuff from age like 2 to 4, and then obviously I got pregnant with Joshua when she was 4, so we kept everything again, thinking, oh well, he can wear that, and it'll just be a little bit of pink on it, and whatever, he can get over it. He'll be a little guy, he won't care. So yeah, I knit those on size 4 needles. I didn't change to a larger size to do the hand part. It actually suggests a tighter or a smaller gauge here and then going up a needle size here. But I didn't know where my 5s were, so I just kept knitting with a 4, and it worked out well. So, yep, she loves them. I like how they turned out, and mittens are done. Yeah. Then if we wanted to talk about, FOs that are not, am I done with? Yeah, I could do acquisitions, and then I'll do FOs that are not knitting. That way, if people are not interested in non-knitting, you don't have to stick around, although I showed cross-stitch. Oh well. So I acquired this yarn since last time that we spoke. So this is Wool & Vine Yarns Volca in Deck the Halls. It's really pretty. It's speckly. I love this dark green. I actually have a dark green yarn that is sock yarn as well. So I'm thinking I might make this into a pair of mittens for me, and then use that dark green for a hat to match the mittens. And then I'm also going to make a Christmas bonbon for Megwin. And maybe one for Joshua. I don't know. He's not that into stuffed animals. He's just into destroying right now. I wouldn't say that he's kind of into anything. The other one, I apologize, it's so loud, I'm sorry. Just came, and this is actually for my mom. So my mom, who's Bethy Lou Who on Ravelry, hi Mom, and on Instagram, she always admires my Wool & Vine yarns, and she obviously works during the day. I have a very young mom, so she still has some years until she retires. But she doesn't have internet access or her work, so she would not be able to catch a Wool & Vine Yarns update. So I said, well, hey, just let me know what you want, and I will catch it for you. Because I usually just, take a break. I block a little bit of time off on my calendar on Friday so that I have time to go and check stuff out. And most of the time it works out. If I have to go to a meeting. Okay, sorry. Cut me off. I might actually get to my full time of episode because it sounds like Joshua calmed down, and I think Megwin's finishing up watching a little show. So she really liked my Deck the Halls, but when I got to the last update for Wool & Vine before she went to Rhinebeck, she only had the Blitz base left, which my mom said is fine. She loves sparkles, so that'll be fine with her. So this one's really pretty. Super pretty with sparkles. And I've shown that I knit my shawl out of this Blitz base in Space Wizard, which was one of a kind colorway. But I really love that shawl, and it's not scratchy at all. The sparkles are really soft. So, yeah, Megwin wears it around her neck. Joshua's worn it. It's a very coveted shawl. So if you have not tried Wool & Vine Yarns yet, please do. You will not be sorry. And now I have the idea in my head that I really want to knit, and is it Aisling or Asling? It's a Justina Lorkowska pattern that Yarnder Woman gifted to me. And in the last update, Kristen had Myth and Royal Amber on her alpaca wool base, and they were together, and I was like, oh, that would I'll make a beautiful 2-color shawl. But I just couldn't justify spending the money at the time. Now I'm like, oh, should have done it. But alas, it's fine. There will be more yarn when it's time for me to knit that shawl. I have plenty of things lined up to knit. Plenty, as you can see. Okay. And then yesterday, tried to make a Christmas tree for my swap partner in the Itty Bitty Knits swap. And this can go down in the category of Pinterest fail, but it's not really a Pinterest fail because I didn't get the idea on Pinterest. So it happens when your husband advises you on what kind of adhesive to use. So he told me to use Gorilla Glue. And it totally like seeped through the yarn that I wound around. So I got one of these styrofoam cones. And then what I was doing was I was winding like forest green yarn around it. And then Megwin and I were going to get like some buttons, maybe some like, there's these little lights. They look like Christmas tree lights, but they're buttons that they always carry at Joann's during Christmas time. So I thought, oh, that would be fun. I could string them on like some gold tinsel thread and kind of put them on the tree and maybe hold them up with like straight pins because you could push pins into here. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. Ideas for salvaging this? Anyone? It might just become our home tree to remind us. Because Megwin wants one for us, so this might just be ours. And maybe I'll use some of that spray on snow and try to cover up the foam and decorate it. But obviously I'm not going to send it to my swap partner. That's how much I love you, swap partner. I won't put this in your package. This is awful. It's hideous. Other acquisitions. I got this fun, beautiful coloring book called The Enchanted Forest by Joanna Basford. I just colored a little bit of the title page. I was trying to test my markers and make sure they weren't going to go through the page. I didn't know if it's like you have to do it in colored pencil or if you can do marker. But the markers were fine. It's got very, very thick paper. It's very high quality. So I think it'll be really pretty to do and like frame some of them. So like this one, I really like a lot. Sorry, I'm not sure how big my frame is on my phone. It's hard for me to know what's showing up. This is a 2-pager, so it's different forest. And there's hidden animals. So my thought was that when I color them in, I might color the hidden animals brightly so that they show up. And this one is really pretty too. So that's kind of gives you an idea of the designs that are in here. There's one that has a frog. That's totally me. I really love frogs. I like this one because it's got the little Know Me Home. And it's a 2-pager as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun to do. The other day I was up here for a little while. Just kind of doing creative stuff. I think I was just, trying to have some alone time to process. This one I like because it reminds me of kind of Escher drawings. And I really love Escher a lot. I have some of his prints. Reproductions, obviously, not original. But, yeah, there's all kinds of neat stuff in here. Oh, this one is super sweet. It's got like the little underground bed. And some mushrooms, and that's all cool. So I have been kind of hiding it from Megwin. What I need to do is get her one of her own maybe, and she can color it and I can color it. That would be good. There's the frog. So that's that. So I'm really happy with that one. I did a little bit of stamping. I was trying to start my Christmas cards, and I have a stamp that's a bunch of different birds, but it's really, really hard to get it to come out right. So I had a bunch of failed attempts where that middle part, it just does not want to ink. So these, and finally here, I got it to work. It's super cute though. So I think out of like 5 or 6, I had like 3 that were okay. And then this one, I colored it in. So I shared this on Instagram. I'm happy with this guy, the cardinal. He looks good. This one looks good. This one looks good. I do not like the bluebirds very much. The blues just aren't the colors I was expecting them to be. It was a new set of markers that I got, and like this one, I'm like, is he like Captain America bird? What's going on there? Not that I don't love Captain America. Don't get me wrong. But that wasn't the look I was going for. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. It'll probably go to someone still. Because I did still spend a lot of time coloring it in. So yeah. Christmas cards started, at least. I felt somewhat accomplished. And, oh, last thing. I've been sewing some project bags. So, these I shared on Instagram as well. But I'm really pleased with how they turned out. So this one, I haven't put the ties in them at all, but they'll be drawstring bags. I need to go and get some different colors of thread because I realized with this that I do not have a lot of colors. And I also can't sew a straight seam to save my life. Look at this. But it's made with love. So, this one is actually not the one I was going to send to my swap partner anyway. So I started doing them to make one for my swap partner in the Itty Bitty Knits group. So this was my second attempt, but my first attempt at doing this top part. And I think I'm going to go get some of this kind of reddish color of thread so that the things don't show as much, the channel. But I love this fabric. I found it at Tuesday Morning in a fat quarter bundle. And now I cannot find any more of it because I was going to go get some more and it's gone. So if you see stuff there that you like, people will grab it. Because it won't be there forever. And then I lined this one with a fun little kind of candy cane stripe. And this was the first bag I sewed. Same print. So I had enough to do 2 bags. I had enough of that one. And then the lining I didn't have enough anymore. So I did this green with kind of rusty red and white polka dot. So it's the kind of inverse of this. So I'm really pleased with how both of those turned out. Here's the ribbon tie I'm going to use. It's just a cream grosgrain ribbon. And I used the tutorial from In Color Order that Greg, who's Knitting Daddy and on Ravelry, and Jessica, who's JaneBG1923 on Ravelry, linked to me. They said that it was nice and easy to use, and it totally was. And then I liked making those so much that I made more. I brought up some colored pencils to try again on those cards. Put them there in my little pouch bow stuff. Oh, that's another paper craft I did. I got to punch holes in these. So for the Itty Bitty Knits thing, you have to tag all your stuff, obviously, because you send 26 packages and people need to know which ones to open in what order. So I made some little tags, but I have to, like I said, punch holes in them. So here's the little stamp that I used. Let's see if I can get it to focus. So it's a little bear tree and a snowman with these little mittens hanging on the tree. Thinking I might go and knit and color the little mittens red, just kind of randomly. So I have 26 of those tags. And this tag punch is like the best money I ever spent because I use them constantly. So I use them for mini skein swaps, anything I do with packages. Sometimes I make a set of tags to include as like a little extra. Okay, they might need me in a minute. But yeah, it's really fun. Oops, I haven't sewn up the bottom of this bag. So this is the last one I made completely. Other than, again, the drawstring. And obviously I didn't sew up the bottom. So this is a print I've had for a long time. I got it in a swap, which was a rainbow themed swap. But at that time I didn't have a sewing machine. So it just kind of sat around. Last year I made a drawstring bag for someone and I cut it really poorly. So this one's kind of a weird wonky shape because I had to, the inside is hiding all manner of sins. Let's just say that. But it's just for me, so I don't care. But I noticed that it's barely got any of this purple. So like it's just got a little pop of purple right there. And that's kind of how the whole print is. You just get these little pops of purple. So I thought it'd be cool to have a purple top. And I did the same purple inside. So those are all the ones I completed. And then I have one that I started, but I haven't finished yet. So this one is going to be these cute little gingerbreads. Gingerbread boy and girls with a candy cane top. Meglin picked out these fabrics to put together. And then the inside is this gold snowflakes print, which is super pretty. So I've got most of that one sewn on. I got to sew on the last snowflake and then sew all the pieces together. So that's not too bad. It won't take me that much longer. That is pretty much everything I have to show. I'm going to cast on some mittens, like I said, for Joshua next. I'm going to use this yarn, which is just some leftover Malabrigo. So, they'll be warm. They're baby mittens. Can't be too picky about baby mittens. Yeah, and that is it. So, yeah, I will draw for the 300 subscriber giveaway probably later this weekend. If I can, I'll try to podcast this weekend. I have another long weekend coming up, so maybe I'll do Monday so that it's not too soon. Because I had a ton to share this time, and I probably won't have very much to share next time if I podcast in like 3 days. So, yeah, I think that's everything. So until next time, I hope you all have a great week, and thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time. All right.